Hi. In today's episode, we're taking a journey through a book that's been making waves and sparking intense debate. It's called The Tyranny of the Federal Reserve by Brian O'Brien. This book is a bold exploration of America's monetary system, its history, and its profound impact on our lives. Now, when you think about the Federal Reserve, what comes to mind? For many, it's the backbone of our economy, the institution that keeps our financial system stable. But O'Brien challenges this notion, arguing that the Federal Reserve is not the savior we believe it to be, but rather a tool of control and a source of economic instability. O'Brien takes us back to the early days of America, a land blessed with abundant resources and a strategic position that made it nearly invincible. He paints a picture of a nation founded on principles of self-reliance and liberty, where the early colonists hacked their way through the wilderness and built a new world with their own hands. This spirit of independence and resilience is a recurring theme throughout the book. But then, O'Brien argues, something changed. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 marked a pivotal moment in American history. It was sold to the public and Congress as a solution to the economic panics that had plagued the nation. But O'Brien contends that this was a deception, a carefully orchestrated plan by powerful bankers to consolidate their control over the American money supply. O'Brien reveals the secretive meeting at Jekyll Island, where a group of influential bankers and politicians gathered to draft the blueprint for the Federal Reserve. This clandestine gathering, shrouded in secrecy and disguised as a duck-hunting trip, laid the foundation for a system that would operate independently of democratic control. The Federal Reserve, according to O'Brien, was designed to serve the interests of Wall Street bankers, not the American people. And what have been the consequences of this system? O'Brien argues that the Federal Reserve has failed to prevent economic crises. In fact, he points to the Great Depression and the 2007 financial crisis as evidence of the Fed's failure. He suggests that the Fed's policies have led to a concentration of wealth, with the rich getting richer while the middle class struggles to maintain their standard of living. O'Brien paints a grim picture of America's economic landscape. He highlights the growing wealth gap, the decline of American industries, and the increasing burden of national debt. He argues that the Federal Reserve's policies have fueled inflation, devalued the dollar, and eroded the purchasing power of the average American. But O'Brien doesn't just criticize the current system, he offers alternatives. He draws on the ideas of figures like Alfred Owen Crozier, who advocated for a U.S. monetary council that would regulate the money supply and operate under principles of transparency and accountability. O'Brien envisions a system where money is not a tool for usury and speculation, but a medium of exchange that serves the needs of the people. He proposes the creation of public loan offices that would provide credit to homeowners and small businesses, with interest rates set to benefit local communities rather than distant financiers. This, he argues, would empower Main Street over Wall Street, fostering a more equitable and prosperous economy. O'Brien also delves into the history of money, from the colonial era to the present day. He explores the use of colonial scrip, the debates over the gold standard, and the rise of fiat currency. He argues that the current system, based on debt and controlled by private bankers, is fundamentally flawed and unsustainable. He criticizes the fractional reserve banking system, which he sees as a form of legalized fraud, where banks create money out of thin air and lend it at interest, leading to a perpetual cycle of boom and bust. He argues that this system enriches a small elite while leaving the majority of Americans struggling to make ends meet. O'Brien's vision for the future is one of reform and renewal. He calls for a return to American principles of self-government and accountability. He advocates for a new monetary system that prioritizes the needs of the people over the profits of bankers. He believes that by reclaiming control over our money supply, we can restore prosperity and independence to our nation. In conclusion, The Tyranny of the Federal Reserve is a provocative and thought-provoking book that challenges us to rethink our assumptions about money and power. It invites us to imagine a different future, one where the American people are no longer beholden to the whims of unelected bankers, but are instead the masters of their own economic destiny. So, what do you think? Is it time for a new monetary system? Are we ready to reclaim our economic sovereignty? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends. Together, we can start a conversation that could change the course of our nation's future. Thanks for tuning in to the BrightLearn podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep striving for a better world. Goodbye.
Visit brightlearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.